This Korean spirit smells like pear, without a single pear inside. Its name is Munbaeju. When the glass comes close, the first note is not sweet fruit soaked in liquor, but a clear, cool aroma. That aroma gave this drink the name of wild pear. This is the story of how an absent pear became a memory in one glass. Munbae points to a native wild pear remembered in Korea, but Munbaeju is not a fruit wine made from pears. There is no pear juice and no piece of pear in the traditional base. The name came because a grain spirit carried a scent like wild pear, so Munbaeju was named for pear aroma, not for pear fruit. At the center of Munbaeju are millet, sorghum, and nuruk. The fact that millet and sorghum stand before rice makes this drink unusual. The scent in the clear glass does not come from a fruit basket. It comes from grain and nuruk changing each other over time. Beside an empty pear plate, the skill of the drink becomes clearer. Grain turns into a pear-like aroma in Munbaeju. The drink begins with a millet base mash and gains depth as sorghum mash is added. With each addition, the rough breath of grain grows rounder. Nuruk opens the path of the liquor like an invisible hand. There are still no pears, but the direction of the aroma has already begun to change. During fermentation, many volatile aromas can form inside alcohol. Some of them are read by the human nose as fruit. That is where pear aroma without pears begins to make sense. We should not reduce Munbaeju to one single compound, but the aroma clearly comes from fermentation, nuruk, and grain working together. The pear note is not a piece of fruit, but a trace left by fermentation. After fermentation, Munbaeju becomes a clear spirit through distillation. One drop from the traditional still looks as transparent as water, but the time of grain remains inside. Distillation removes many things while leaving certain aromas sharper. That is why Munbaeju rises clean and cool rather than heavy like a fruit liqueur. It is a drink that asks the nose to lean into a small glass first. Munbaeju is remembered as a spirit from the Pyongyang region. Millet and sorghum were familiar grains around that place. Among many Korean drinks built around rice, Munbaeju followed another grain path. That difference shaped the aroma and the name. The pear note in one glass begins first with the grains of Pyongyang. A Pyongyang spirit crossed war and survived in Gimpo. The family that made Munbaeju moved south after the Korean War, and the lineage of the drink moved with them. The water and soil of home became distant, but the method passed from hand to hand. Sometimes liquor is carried in memory before it is carried in a bottle. That movement lives inside the aroma of Munbaeju. Traditional liquor does not survive through records alone. It needs the feel of nuruk, the nose that knows fermenting alcohol, and the patience to wait. Munbaeju survived through that memory of hands. Making pear aroma without pears is closer to a delicate balance than a simple recipe. Keeping that balance is the center of inheritance. Munbaeju was designated as a national intangible heritage in 1986. The aroma of one drink became a technique worth preserving beyond personal taste. Today, Munbaeju continues its name in Gimpo in Gyeonggi province. To drink it is sometimes to smell a piece of cultural heritage for a moment. Its pear aroma is the scent of a skill that did not disappear even after losing its home. Munbaeju also became known as a dinner drink at inter-Korean summits. The fact that an aroma from Pyongyang sat between northern and southern glasses is symbolic. In that place, Munbaeju looked less like a simple spirit and more like a drink of remembered home. One clear glass quietly crossed a long divided time. Aroma can sometimes carry memory more gently than words. The charm of Munbaeju becomes sharper because there are no pears. If pears were added, this aroma would feel obvious. Because grain and nuruk create the impression of pear, we keep asking about it longer. The aroma of good liquor cannot be explained only by the name of an ingredient. Between them lies the long path of fermentation, distillation, and waiting. Look into the glass and no pear appears. All you can see is clear liquor and a small movement on the surface. Yet the shadow of wild pear reaches the nose first. The power to make us sense what is absent is the strange beauty of this drink. Munbaeju leaves an invisible pear behind as aroma. If you ever taste Munbaeju, think of grain before looking for pear. Millet, sorghum, nuruk, and long waiting meet inside the glass. The road from Pyongyang to Gimpo is there as well. A pear aroma without a single pear remains longer because of that. It is the scent of fruit, and also the scent of a home that did not disappear.